Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, wherever you're watching me today. My name is Dr. Obioramba, greeting you from Nkolo, Mahadum, Wisdom University. Today's date is after market day in the 60 month of the lunar calendar called Onwa Ikejioko. Today is after market day in the 6th month of the lunar calendar called Onwa Ifejioku. Remember, the lunar calendar is Igbo calendar. And that is the calendar given to us by our ancestors. And that's what we should be following. And how proud will you be if a Chinese, an American, an Indian ask you what is today's month? What is the 6th month of the year? And you reply, Onwa Ifejioku. Wouldn't that show that you have identity? That is your identity. That will show the foreigner that you have identity instead of what we have right now. And today's date in the foreign Roman Catholic calendar, which they are imposing on us, is July 11th, 2024. Thank you for joining me. Please share this program to your friends and well-wishers. Try to subscribe to our YouTube channel, like our program, comment, let us know how we are doing. Today's lecture is some of the bad leaders brought in by the flawed, bad electoral system being used in Nigeria. Because in our last lecture, we were talking about the bad electoral process, how they led the bad electoral processes in Nigeria is bringing in bad leaders. And unfortunately, that day, on our last lecture, it was disrupted. The lecture was disrupted because of the Hurricane Mariel, which, brought a lot of rain and wind. And there was no light in many households. In fact, more than 2 million people don't have electricity as a result of that hurricane. And I was in the middle of that lecture when they took light. So I will advise you to go back to that lecture because that is like the series number 1. And today's lecture is the series number 2. To conclude that lecture, how the electoral process brings in bad leaders in Nigeria. Not only in Nigeria, anywhere you have bad electoral process, it usually brings in bad leaders. And so today we shall be looking at the Fourth Republic, the one they call the Fourth Republic. Because you know that before the Fourth Republic, it was Muhammadu Buhari who truncated the civilian administration of the then Shegu Shagari. And Buhari, being a military man, ruled from 1983 to 1985 before Ibrahim Babangida replaced him from 1985 to 1993. And then NS Shonekon came in between August to November of 1993 because Babangida ruled from 1985 to 1993, and Ernest Shonekan came in between as an interim government between August to November 1993. And then Sani Abacha came in from 1993 to 1998. Then Abdul Salami Abubakar came in between June 1988 to 1999. So it was in 1999 that the one they called the Fourth Republic started. It started with the election of Chief Olusegun Obasanjo, who ruled from May 29th, 1999 to 2007. And followed by Alhaji Umaru Yaradua from May 29th, 2007 to May 2010. And we all know that he died in office. Then, after Yaradua, is followed by Jonathan from the 6th of May 2010 to May 29th, 2015. Then followed by Muhammad Buhari, 29th May 2015 to 20th May 2023. And then the current president, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who came in May 29, 2023. So, as you can see, Obasanjo, Olusegun Obasanjo, who began the Fourth Republic, supposed to be the president to lay the foundation. He has an opportunity. He has a big opportunity, in fact, to lay a very good foundation, a very solid foundation for the for the Fourth Republic to be one of the best in the world. Yes, Obasanjo tried in few ways, but he failed in the major things that he's supposed to do. Number one, there's no evidence that corruption declined during Obasanjo's rule. Corruption did not decline. In fact, corruption was also going on. So he failed to stem corruption. And we all know that corruption is one of the biggest challenges, one of the biggest problems we have in the continent of Africa today. So he failed to stem corruption. Another area that Obasanjo failed was his short-term agenda. In fact, Chidi, Odinkalo, and Aisha Osori even wrote a book which was accusing Obasanjo that he and his cronies stole almost $500 million to invest in that failed third-term agenda. He shouldn't do that third term. He should have laid a solid foundation. Any president that serves 2 terms will step down for a new one to come in. But he failed by going the direction of that third-term agenda. News had it he was sharing money in bags to lawmakers and others. That shouldn't have been the case. For somebody that came to lay a foundation for something good to come to the people, it shouldn't be that way. So he failed in that bid for that third-time bid. Another area he failed is he handpicked his successor, enthroning godfatherism in the politics. It shouldn't be that way. So Obasanjo failed to lay a solid foundation for the Fourth republic, which is what we are witnessing today. And then Alhaji Umaru Yaradua, whom he handpicked, was very sick. Some news had it that he knew that this man would die in office before he went to get him. And what happened? Umaru Yaradua, who ruled the country between May 29th, 2007 to May 2010, was very sick. In fact, a lot of drama occurred when he was sick, that he was in coma and he was flown in from abroad. And on the night he was in the airport, there was no light. They conspired and took light and smuggled him into the government house. And he is sick. He can no longer rule the country. And all the bad leaders around him was lying that he's still there, and all the even President Jonathan, his vice, was not even allowed to go and see him. If not for Dora Akunyele. It was Dora Akunyele, his information minister, that broke the cat out of the bag. That told Nigerians that this man is dead, is almost dead, and is dead, and Jonathan should replace him. So these are some of the bad leaders, because it is people that are supposed to lead, that we are lying. When somebody that was entrusted, publicly entrusted with authority, was sick, what you should do is to honorably step down for your vice to take over. But it wasn't the case. And before we continue, we have to beg you again to please subscribe to our YouTube channel, like our program, comment, follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and all other social media platforms, so that you will be the first to be enjoying our programs where we present issues on Biafran and African perspective. And so, after all the drama, it was announced that Shehu Yaradua is dead, and then Jonathan, Dr. Goodluck Jonathan, took over power from 6th May 2010 to May 29, 2015. And as you can tell, Jonathan tried a little bit, but also there was a lot of corruption in his government. He couldn't stand corruption. But as for foreign policy, as for public policy, he was considering the effect of his policy on the masses. That was why any policy they're making, they consider the effect on the masses before they make that policy. So he was the people's president in the view of Colomado. He was better than any of these presidents, better than Buhari, better than Mohamed Tinubu. And so, you know how he was removed? By political coup. The North didn't want him, and they all sabotaged, and he was taken out of power with meddling of the US. Barack Obama, president of America, he was also instrumental in making sure that Goodluck used power to bring in Muhammadu Buhari. And so Muhammadu Buhari took over from May 29, 2015 to May 29, 2023. You all see what happened. A lot of borrowing money without accountability. He was the one that shattered the quota system in appointment, appointing all Muslims to sensitive positions, supporting terrorism. In fact, before he came to power, it was his agency that invited the current Fulani herdsmen to come and be bombing Abuja and so many areas. And Nigeria became worse and worse under Muhammadu Buhari. A lot of loans, a lot of corruption was at the highest place. Insecurity, he cannot prosecute Fulani terrorist herdsmen killing people across the country. His government was the worst government that Nigeria has ever experienced. And remember, he was also imposed by the colonial masters because they want him to do, and that was why his government did not favor majority. And now, the current president, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, took over from Muhammadu Buhari on May 29th, 2023. And he's the president today. And you all know how the election went, that he didn't win. It was clear that he didn't win. He was imposed by the colonial masters because they know they want to use him. And what has he done? So far, he has removed fuel subsidy. Recently, he signed the GMO seeds from the Gates, and other government policies are not, very accurate. You can see how the country is doing. Things are very, very expensive. So these are the leaders that are being brought in by the flawed electoral process. And that is why Nkola Mahadum is of the opinion that both the electoral process that is bringing in these bad leaders must be brought down, must be stopped right now, because it's not doing anybody any good. We can go on and on. A lot of bad leaders that this electoral process has brought to the country, and the suffering of the people is enormous. It's enormous. If you go down to the states, you see some of them, the current FCT minister, Nyesom Wike, El Rufai, Governor Obiano, who the day he handed over, he was at the airport trying to run to another land built by somebody else. There's a lot of bad leaders everywhere. You know, Fellow of Kudi, Lawal, the former Senate president, who is a handpicked man for Buhari, and the current Senate president, who is stamping everything that Tinubu wants. All of them are bad leaders. That's what Kolomade wants you to know. That the electoral process that is bringing in these bad leaders must be brought down. If not, you can never benefit from the current system. It benefits no one. Where people are handpicked to occupy positions that they do not qualify to occupy, cannot benefit anybody and should be brought down. And with this, we shall be bringing this to an end. Before we do, we must beg you to please subscribe to our YouTube channel, like our program, comment, follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and other social media platforms. Do you know another thing you could do? Another most important thing is to support the Eastern Security Network. This is the only security outfit that are in the bushes to drive away all the Fulani herdsmen terrorists, because that is where they stay to plan and kill and kidnap and take our lands and resources, so that our farmers can go back to our land, farm, and produce food for our people and for export. And with this, we shall be bringing today's lecture to an end. Thank you very much for joining us, and have a great day.